When Japan invaded and occupied the Netherlands East Indies, modern-day Indonesia, in early 1942, the Dutch colonial administration collapsed. Key officials fled to Australia, where they began planning for the post-war re-establishment of Dutch authority. In exile, the Dutch government sought to maintain the instruments of statehood, including currency. This one, Roopeeyah banknote, printed in 1943, was issued by the Dutch colonial government in exile. The note was part of the post-war planning when the Dutch intended to re-establish their rule over what is now Indonesia once the Japanese were finally defeated. Though marked legal tender, it was never circulated during the war. It was held in reserve for eventual use in territories liberated from Japanese control as part of efforts to restore pre-war colonial governance. The front of the note features a formal portrait of Queen Wilhelmina of the Netherlands, whose presence asserts royal legitimacy and the continuity of Dutch rule. Opposite her is the Dutch coat of arms, flanked by lions and crowned with the royal insignia, along with the motto, Je maintiendrai, I will maintain. This note was, in effect, a declaration of intended colonial restoration. Bilingual text, Dutch and Malay, indicates an attempt to reach both colonial administrators and the local population. Yet the overall aesthetic is European, conservative and authoritative. Even the ornate engraving style reinforces the image of stability, control and imperial permanence. The design speaks more to reassurance for a returning empire than to the lived realities of a society in wartime flux. Following Japan's surrender in 1945, Indonesian nationalist leaders declared independence, setting off a 4-year war for sovereignty. The Dutch hoped to use notes like this in post-war reconstruction, but their moment had passed. The currency never found its way into daily life. It belonged to a vision of a colonial future that never came to be. The Dutch eventually gave up and Indonesia became independent. Today, the 1 Rupiah note stands as a tangible echo of a fading colonial vision, an object shaped by power, uncertainty and historical momentum. It remains relatively common on the collector's market, a poignant and accessible reminder of an empire that could not reclaim its place in the post-war world. Finally, if you have a moment, could you press the like and subscribe buttons? I would be very grateful. Thanks for listening and watching.